No good deed goes unpunished. You leave, you come back to pain.
All right. It having reached the hour of 5:31 p.m., I am calling the April 5th, 2022 Modesto City Council meeting to order and ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Scudia Brayton.
Aye.
Councilmember Madrigal. Is he online? No. Councilmember Ricky.
Here.
Councilmember Zalaki is absent. Councilmember Knoyer is absent. Councilmember Wright.
Here.
Mayor Zwallen.
Here. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation from Jeff Pishney with Love Stanislaus County. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please stay standing.
All right, before I share this invocation, I got to give you a quick Love Modesto update. This is our 14th year. Man, we're all getting old. This is our 14th year of Love in Modesto, and we are back this year meeting downtown in front of the Gallo Center and thousands of people coming out. And so we're so excited that we get to love on our city and just be out there in over 75 different projects. And I just appreciate all of your support and so many people who have supported this for so many years and are involved in loving our town. Man, we can do this together, you know? So I also want to let you know on April 30th, our big day, you got some flyers in front of you, is we've got cities coming in from all over the country that are going to be observing Modesto and looking at what we do and how we do it and taking it back to their city. Right now we're helping over 100 cities all around our country right now, with a plan of over 1,000 cities around the world in the next 10 years. And so Modesto, you're inspiring people everywhere. And I can't wait to show our town off to them when they come here. Let me offer this invocation here. God, thank you for my town, Modesto. I truly love my town. I love living here and having a family here and growing up here. And God, I thank you for my leaders I stand before right now, and I know they love this town as much as I do. And God, I thank you for all that they give back to their community here. And God, I pray blessings on each of them. I pray blessings on their employment, on their families, and on their role here in serving our city. And God, I know there's challenges here in this town, but God, I know that there's so much more good than the challenges. I know that we can get discouraged on things that maybe go wrong. But God, help us to remember there are so many amazing people in this town that are doing it right. And so I just want to encourage God, my leaders here tonight, that they would remember that there's so much good in this town. And God, I thank you for what they do. And I pray that tonight in this meeting, that if all possible, there would be unity. And when not, there would be civility. Always civility here. Thank you for my town. And thank you for that we get to love this city here together. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. All right. At this time, does the city clerk have any announcements?
No, Mayor.
Thank you. Do any of the council members have any conflicts of interest?
No.
Okay, thank you. All right. Will the city attorney please report out on closed sessions?
Mayor, today the council considered existing litigation matters and also labor negotiation. No reportable action was taken. Staff was given direction.
Thank you. Next is acknowledgements and presentations. First of all, we'd like to recognize the service of our Citizens Districting Commission members. And I want to recognize those that are here tonight. We have certificates for those that are with us tonight and also certificates for those that could not be here this evening. I want to express appreciation, and I will read one of the certificates. It says, on behalf of the Modesto City Council, I offer our appreciation for your outstanding dedication and service to our community as a member of the 2021-2022 Citizens Districting Commission. With this came a great responsibility, and we fully recognize and appreciate your commitment to our city to bring this to pass so that we can have the best districts made possible so that our residents get the representation that they deserve. So we're greatly appreciative of your service. Accepting, we have, as far as I know, Present Diane Cruz. I know, Diane, I've known you forever, and I know. I had a friend in high school with the same name, and that's how I pronounced it, so I apologize if that was wrong. And we have Marshall Riddle. Great. And we have Aaron Anguiano. Great. My understanding is those are the only ones that are present. Is that correct? From what you can see? Okay, great. I would also like to recognize Maria Basalto. And Nancy Hinton. And next one is Emmanuel Becerra, Seth Seamus, Maria Dianda, and Marcia Wagoner. So we appreciate all of you. We will now step down and award you your certificates if you're here. And the ones that are not here, should we keep those? And then, okay, great, and we'll get them to them. So I will just bring these three down. We have, let's see, Diane here in person, Marshall, and Aaron. If the council members would join me, we will present these certificates at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again. Our next presentation would be a Stanislaus County update, but we will not be having that presentation this evening. Item 3, presentation of proclamation proclaiming April 2022 as National Volunteer Month, and accepting the award will be our very own Lori Smith. and she has a few remarks to make.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon. Lori Smith, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhoods. One of the many wonderful things about Modesto is the people. Modestans love their community, and they show up for it every day and in many ways. And one of those ways is by volunteering. The Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhoods Department volunteer program has evolved over the years from a handful of cleanups to partnerships with community groups like Love Modesto and Operation 9 to 99 that host major cleanup projects throughout the year. In addition, Modesto volunteers help transform parks with things like new play equipment. They support our local events like the Downtown Holiday Parade, and they help keep our history alive by volunteering at the McHenry Mansion and Museum. In 2019, more than 6,000 volunteers gave over 25,000 hours of their time to make Modesto a great place to live, and we couldn't be more grateful. Thank you, Mayor, for the recognition of the power and the value of volunteerism.
All right, at this time I will read the proclamation. We are living in a moment that calls for hope and light and love. Hope for our future, light to see our way forward, and love for one another. Volunteers provide all three. Service, the act of looking out for one another, is part of who we are as a community. Our commitment to service reflects our understanding that we can best meet our challenges when we join together. The tremendous power of volunteers and volunteerism has been on dramatic display in our response to the COVID-19 pandemic. All across our community, doctors and nurses, students and veterans, and countless others have given their time and talent to administer vaccines, staff vaccination centers, boost testing, tracing, and other life-saving public health measures. Volunteers of all ages and walks of life have stepped forward in other ways to meet this challenge. Government cannot do the job alone, but government working together with nonprofits, community organizations, and the private sector can make our community stronger, more prosperous, and ready for the future. When we step forward to serve, it renews our sense of community. By helping others, volunteers also help themselves. They learn new skills, expand their professional networks, connect with neighbors, and experience the satisfaction that comes from serving a larger cause. Service can provide a pathway to employment, education, and other career-building opportunities. During National Volunteer Month, we celebrate those who volunteer and encourage more to follow their path. No matter your age, background, or where you come from, you can have an impact through service. Now, therefore, I, Suze Wallen, Mayor, do hereby proclaim April 2022 as National Volunteer Month in the City of Modesto and encourage our residents to join others in our community to volunteer and serve. Dated this 5th day of April 2022. And thank you so much for your remarks, and we will join you down in front of the podium to give you the certificate. All right, next we have a presentation of proclamation proclaiming April Celebrate Diversity Month. So I will read the proclamation. Proclaiming April Celebrate Diversity Month. April is Celebrate Diversity Month. And the City of Modesto is a city that welcomes and celebrates people of all races, ethnicities, religions, genders, sexual orientations, physical and mental circumstances, and economic status. The City of Modesto strives to cultivate our diversity and believes it enhances the quality of life in our community. And the City of Modesto created the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Program, also known as the DEI program, and the Equity Commission in January 2022 to advocate for an inclusive and equitable work environment where every employee and citizen feels valued and included. And the DEI program works in concert with the city's strategic plan goal, build a high-performance organization to build morale and invest in employees. The City of Modesto created the DEI program with the goal of becoming an employer of choice. The DEI program focuses on understanding the diversity and priorities of our workforce in order to recruit and retain employees and the services that are provided to the community. And the City of Modesto aspires to be an organization where employees use their unique experiences and backgrounds, where ideas are heard, and where we advance a culture of inclusion daily to meet the needs of our employees and community. Our vision is for individuals to feel a deep sense of belonging, purpose, and value, and the residents of Modesto are urged to expand community outreach, engagement, and authentic collaboration that will empower each Modesto resident with the ability and desire to help create a society that condemns racism, misogyny, intolerance, discrimination, or oppression toward any person. Now, therefore, I, Suze Wallen, Mayor of the City of Modesto, do hereby proclaim April as Celebrate Diversity Month for the City of Modesto and urge our residents to support, participate, and help expand inclusive conversations and help to create a community that is free of oppression, persecution, and hate, dated this 5th day of April, 2022. And welcome Christina Alger and staff and friends, our Human Resources Director.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Christina Alger, Director of Human Resources. I want to just take a moment to say thank you, Mayor and Council, for recognizing this month and setting it aside, honoring the value of diversity. City staff is very excited to move forward with the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Program, and will use this month of April as an awareness campaign this year and in future years. We believe that this focus will make the City of Modesto a great place to live and work. I want to take a minute also to just state to the public that we do have our new Equity Commission, and it is accepting applications right now. And so I want to encourage citizens to consider being on this commission. It's a citizen commission that will focus on the efforts of DEI and advise the city council and city manager. For those who would like to make a difference in our community regarding diversity, equity, and inclusion, I encourage you to go to our website and apply. I also brought my team members here with me that have been working on this initiative, and I want to actually publicly thank them for their hard work, past, present, and future, because this is a long-term endeavor, and we're going to be working on it for a very long time. So I have here with me Don Kelly, my HR manager, Carmen Vargas, our employee relations officer, and Kelly Rice Ortiz, our HR executive assistant. And they put a lot of work into putting this program together, and we'll continue to work hard to make sure that this goes well. So I just wanted to bring them up and have them accept this with me.
Great. We're really grateful you're here with us this evening and taking the time to be here. So we will step down and present the certificate. right. Our next presentation is a proclamation proclaiming April 2022 as Fair Housing Month. April is recognized nationally as Fair Housing Month. The City of Modesto joins the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, and other housing agencies in the celebration of the anniversary of the passage of the Fair Housing Act, which enunciates a national policy of fair housing for all who live in the United States. And the Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, and national origin. And the state of California additionally prohibits discrimination because of sexual orientation, marital status, ancestry, source of income, disability, medical condition, and age. And adequate housing is a basic need and right of all people, and the City of Modesto encourages and supports fair housing practices and to heighten public awareness, and pledges its commitment to improve housing options and celebrates the value of harmonious and diverse communities by promoting the fair housing law. The City of Modesto has provided financial support to Project Sentinel for fair housing education and enforcement work, and supports fair housing efforts to eliminate discrimination in housing, and recognizes the benefits of Project Sentinel to educate home seekers, apartment managers, and apartment owners on federal and state housing laws, and to investigate complaints of illegal housing discrimination in the City of Modesto. And now, therefore, I, Suze Wallen, Mayor of Modesto, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2022 as Fair Housing Month, and encourage all residents and community organizations to celebrate the value of harmonious and diverse communities of neighbors, and to support the goal of equal housing opportunity for all people. Dated this 5th day of April 2022. To accept the certificate, we have Anna Andrade, Fair Housing Coordinator with Project Sentinel, and Carol Kahn, Project Sentinel's new Executive Director. So welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and City Manager, City Attorney, and Council members. I'm Carol Kahn. I am the new incoming Executive Director for Project Sentinel. It is truly our privilege to be serving the community and City of Modesto. And thank you so much for the proclamation and recognition of this important work in the community to create home and hearth with all who belong and should experience no barriers to housing. I do want to introduce Ana Andrade, who really is the heart and soul of our work here in Modesto. Without further ado, here's Ana.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you so much. Just thank you for the support and the recognition. We're here in the community, and we've been here for a long time, so we appreciate the recognition. Thank you.
All right, thank you for being with us, and we will step down to award the proclamation.
Thank you.
Right, next is miscellaneous legislation and appointments. Item 6. Consider approving the appointment of Jose Vasquez as the Planning Commission representative to the Citizens Housing and Community Development Committee for 2022 with a term of expiration of December 31st, 2022. Do I have any questions from council members? Comments from the public? Seeing none. Comments from the council? Seeing none, do I have a motion and a second?
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Jose Vasquez to the Planning Commission.
All right. I have a motion from Councilmember Scudia-Brayton and a second from Vice Mayor Wright. Will the city clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Scudia-Brayton?
Aye.
Councilmember Madrigal?
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Mayor Zwollen?
Aye.
And just to clarify, the appointment's not to the Planning Commission, but
It's-
as the Planning Commission representative. Just wanna
To the
make sure.
Citizens Housing and Community Development
Correct.
Committee.
I just want to make sure that that was clear
Yeah,
on the motion.
so,
All right. Thank you for that clarification. So that carries unanimously. Item 7, consider approving the appointment of Amin Vora as the Planning Commission representative to the Board of Zoning Adjustment for 2022 with a term of expiration of December 31st, 2022. Any questions from council members? Comments from the public? Seeing none, comments from council?
Motion to approve?
All right, I have, this is a resolution approving the appointment of Amin Vora as the 2022 Planning Commission representative to the Board of Zoning Adjustment, with this term expiring December 31st, 2022. And I have a motion from Vice Mayor Wright, second from Councilmember Madrigal. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Scudia-Brayton?
aye.
Councilmember Madrigal?
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Mayor Zwollen?
Aye. So it carries unanimously here, 5-0. Correct. Thank you. Next is public comment period. If anyone wishes to speak under public comment, this is for items not on the council agenda, and each person has 3 minutes to speak. I currently have 4 blue cards and at least one person online. Okay, so if you would fill out a blue card, then I will call you in order. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. And if you have a blue note, please give it to our clerk. Sure, yes, please do. Okay.
It is not required. You can come up after she is called.
Okay. First person is Lori Wolf.
Moving forward.
Just pass me.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Good evening, Mayor Zwollen and members of the Modesto City Council. My name is Lori Wolf. I live in Wood Colony. I am the secretary for the Wood Colony Municipal Advisory Council and also chair of Farmland Working Group. I'm here tonight to introduce myself and a few of my neighbors to bring you an update on life in Wood Colony. Without some historical context, you may be doomed to make the same mistakes as your predecessors if you propose to include Wood Colony in your next sphere of influence update. Wood Colony is more than just a name for this unique community. It was founded in 1869, 1 year prior to the founding of the City of Modesto. The original property was named in honor of Eben Wood, chosen by the landowners at the time. The old German Baptist Brethren gave their church district the name Wood Colony District, and the cemetery, which is located on Dakota Avenue, north of Beckwith Road, is named the Wood Colony Cemetery. There are also other settler families with Swiss, Dutch, English, Portuguese, and Italian backgrounds who owned and farmed in this same area, owned land. Many of these properties remain in the original settlers' family ownership to this day. It was the prime quality of the land, that attracted and retained and supported these rural families. In 1995, the City of Modesto introduced their updated general plan, and it included a portion of Wood Colony in the area known as the Beckwith Triangle. Droves of Wood Colony residents attended council meetings in the basement of the old City Hall. Members of the old German Baptist Brethren stood at the back in their dark clothes, beards, and dark hats and gave silent witness to the fact that they didn't wish to become annexed into the City of Modesto for any type of development. That position remains to this day. In 1996, the City of Modesto sought to annex Wood Colony's Beckwith Triangle, which was voted down by LAFCO. In 2004, LAFCO further identified the existence of Wood Colony as a social and economic community of interest in this area, adjacent to the City of Modesto's sphere of influence. Nothing has changed, and Wood Colony remains a vibrant community. I'd just like to add that I was not born in Wood Colony. However, I feel I was planted there as a means to help maintain Wood Colony's legacy for the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, next I have Robin Hennings.
Good evening, Mayor Zawalin and our city council members. My name is Robin Hennings. I have been a resident of Wood Colony for almost 70 years. In 2014, the Wood Colony residents started a grassroots effort to protect and preserve their family homes and their rich farmlands. Signatures were collected to petition for an initiative to bring our cause to the citizens of the greater Modesto area. Measure I, also known as the Stamp Out Sprawl Initiative, was created and appeared on the 2015 ballot. Stakeholders walked and put signs in the Modesto neighborhoods and hosted country fairs that we opened to the public to advertise our needs. All these efforts were to highlight and inform voters of the beauty, the high quality land and water, and the uniqueness of Wood Colony. We hoped the voters would recognize the need to keep ag land as ag land, and many did. The measure was defeated by a mere 215 votes, but the community of Wood Colony was not defeated. As an outcome of Measure I, the vote of the Measure I, the residents of Wood Colony realized we needed a platform, we needed a voice, and we needed a place where we could be informed and heard. After years of being ignored and misled by the City of Modesto's general plan, revisions, annexations, and expansions, we did not want to be caught off guard again. We needed to organize. We needed a place where we could meet with our neighbors and friends to share ideas, issues, and community happenings. Thus, in 2017, the Wood Colony Municipal Advisory Council was established. The MAC has given the Wood Colony residents a place to interact with not only each other, but with our county supervisor, sheriff, fire department, and other important people and agencies in our community. Most importantly, it is where we can go to be informed of any other plans that may affect the quality life of our community.
Thank you. Next is Lisa DeVicki Braden. Welcome.
Hi, thank you, Mayor, council members. My name is Lisa DeVicki Braden. I have lived in Wood Colony for 23 years, specifically the Beckwith Triangle, and I'm vice chair of the Wood Colony MAC. I'm here today to remind the council that in March of 2020, we received word in the height of the pandemic and lockdown, backdoor meetings were being held with the landowner, the mayor, chamber, city staff, and a few others who conspired to develop an urban limit line, all without the knowledge and input of the residents of Wood Colony. This ULL strategically eliminated any voting power that Wood Colony residents had by gerrymandering an area of the Beckwith Triangle that would ensure approval for such a plan. The ULL was submitted to the City of Modesto so the mayor could get it on the November 2020 ballot, with landowners' names that supposedly wanted to sell, but most of those signatures were certain landowners' family members who are on every parcel he owns. Some Wood Colony residents, 160, were notified by letter in June of 2020 that the mayor was wanting an opinion on a ULL, all after the fact. This master manipulation was publicly exposed by residents of Wood Colony to council members, Stanislaus County Board of Supervisors, LAFCO, and the Modesto Bee, and the initiative was abandoned. We are here today to say leave Wood Colony alone. Don't make promises to our face when we know some of you think it's just dirt. We will continue to fight to save all of the prime farmland of Wood Colony. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Lonnie Turner. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor. It's the first time that we've stood before you as mayor, and we're glad to have you as our mayor. Well, actually, you're not my mayor, but
Thank you.
my name is Lonnie Turner. I've lived in the Wood Colony for almost 24 years. I don't farm. We live on a half acre, and we enjoy a very pleasant rural life in Wood Colony. I'd like to conclude this evening's discussions about the need to save Wood Colony. First, we appreciated being able to participate in workshops concerning the 2050 General Plan update process. Thank you, Jalen. Several of us attended this past week, and we look forward to being involved in the future. We found the workshop to be very constructive and useful. To summarize the discussions from my colleagues tonight, I want to leave you with some key points. We, the Wood Colony Community Association, are still actively involved in our efforts to, 1, preserve prime farmland soils that must be saved from development. 2, protect the heritage of Wood Colony families that have been working this land for hundreds of years, and also to maintain our rural way of life. 3, prevent ill-conceived and thoughtless urban sprawl. All these things, plus many more, make Wood Colony a productive agricultural community worth saving from development. We are aware that there are non-resident farmers that are interested in selling their property for development. And we recognize that that is their prerogative. They could sell their ag land as ag land right now. Tonight, we provided you with a history of our fight for Wood Colony. It was our effort to let you know that we are even better organized now than in the past, with our MAC and our ability to communicate with large numbers. One last thing I want to leave you with, and it's this. Modesto city expansion in any part of Wood Colony is a non-starter. It would negatively impact the lives of many and be the beginning of the end of our community. please remove the Beckwith Dakota CPD from the general plan maps. Thank you for your time and your attention.
Thank you. I'll take the people that have given me the blue cards, and then I will take those from the that are here that have not presented blue cards. Next, I have Patricia Uribe. Welcome.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
First of all, I'd like to thank you, Mayor, and City Council members for letting me speak today. My name is Patricia Uribe. I'm a full-time student, a mother, a wife, a resident of, I wasn't born here, but pretty much a lifetime resident of Modesto. My issue that brings me here today is a public safety issue. I live on East Orangeburg Avenue. And most recently, we've had our truck completely totaled by a hit and run, most likely a drunk driver. That was on February 25th, 2022. Around 9:50 p.m., I was putting my child to sleep. I heard the familiar kind of like a can crash or can crushing sound. I was on the phone with 911 before I even walked outside because I knew that they had hit a vehicle. I just didn't know which one. My truck was completely totaled. The person, like I said, hit and left. My truck was pushed about 8 to 10 feet forward onto the sidewalk. It crashed into the vehicle that was parked ahead of it, which was my neighbor's vehicle. About 10-15 minutes later, a gentleman approached me and said that he had witnessed the entire incident. He had followed the driver, took a photo of his license plate and vehicle, and then proceeded to give me that information. When I spoke to the Modesto Police Department, they simply stated that I should give my information to the insurance company and that they were not going to pursue it, obviously because there was no physical injury, which, obviously as a mother, as a person of this community, I that kind of is unsettling, that someone could cause such an accident and just pretty much get away with it. About a month later, about 2 weeks ago, the neighbor's car was again hit, and then this time they hit their truck because we no longer had a truck sitting outside. It's totaled. We heard it. The driver's van was incapacitated. He again tried to flee. By this time, my husband and all of the neighbors were already congregated. We're just familiar with the sound, the crashing sound. So everyone ran outside and stopped him from fleeing. He stumbled out of the van. I had called 911 before even walking outside, again, putting my baby to bed around the same time. And he was, I'm assuming, arrested. I went back inside. And then about, I believe, 2018, 2019, I heard a loud crash again. It was a little bit different, but more than anything, I could just remember the sound of the horn. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Just
I'll wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Finish your thoughts.
The sound of the horn, a huge SUV slammed into the tree that's in my front yard, and the woman was obviously drunk, stumbles out, and then her boyfriend picked her up a couple minutes later. Long story short, I would like to address this issue, maybe DUI officer in the area. It's the Donnabee's bar right down the street that I assume is the culprit. So, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yes. Our chief of police is here this evening, and he will make a comment. Or speak to, all right, great. He'll speak to Patricia. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here, and thank you, Chief Gillespie. Next, Terry Hopkins.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members.
Welcome.
unfortunately, your predecessors have kicked this can down the road. My neighbor just spoke. We live door to door. And I am here for the third time about the same issue. I've been a resident in Modesto for 16 years. I purchased a home there on that same street. Since 2008, I have lost 10 automobiles to drunk drivers smashing into it. The 2019 incident that she's speaking of, it's here. My Prius and my SUV totaled. The individuals were drunk. This keeps going on, it keeps going on. I've heard every excuse from, whoa, it's a thoroughfare for emergency vehicles, we can't put road bumps, we can't do this, we can't do that. All of the efforts have been futile at best. So my question is, do we wait until somebody dies on the street? Because eventually somebody's gonna die. And what makes it so ridiculous, out of all the 10 vehicles that were damaged, one of the vehicles damaged was a rental car from the damage the 2 days before. Now, how ridiculous is that? We need to do something about the street. It doesn't need to be a thoroughfare from Oakdale to Coffee. It doesn't. It's just 2 lanes on that road. It's a resident. They can just as easily go down Bridgemore. You don't get to a hospital anyway until you get to Coffee and then down towards McHenry. So something can be done about it. They put white lines on the street. They don't even maintain them, so you can barely see them now. They put a speed limit sign on one of the corners, but if you're intoxicated, you can't see that. You're not even looking for it. I've heard every excuse about how many vehicles go through that area on a daily basis, and, you know, we just have to do this. No, we don't have to do anything. What we have to do is protect the lives of the people in the neighborhood. I have a son, and right now he's in assisted care. He has cerebral palsy. I had a vehicle, a van that I purchased that was a handicapped vehicle. It was parked on the street in front of my house. A drunk driver came along, hit that van, and knocked it into the driveway of the next door neighbor. Now, what if my then wife had been getting out of the car with our son? When does it stop? When does somebody take it seriously? When? When one of our neighbors is walking the dog in the summer, you know the temperature out here. We walk our pets at night. So do we wait until a resident is dead and then we look, oh, well, Sacramento had this thing that they couldn't foresee, but we can foresee this. So personally, I don't want any more of the talk to this person, talk to that person. No, I will be here in every city council meeting. If you think Sebastian Jones is a pest, I will be here, and you will remember my name in our neighborhood. Thank you.
Right, thank you. All right.
Madam
Looks
Mayor?
like Chief Gillespie would like to speak with you also, if you have a moment.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
just wanted to ask if at all possible, if we can get like a report back from staff at the next council meeting on the status of what measures the city might be taking to address the traffic danger on this particular stretch that they're talking about. If we can just get like a quick report, assuming there's no opposition from any of my colleagues
Okay,
on this.
yeah, we will certainly consider that. It's important information. I appreciate everyone being here this evening. Next, I have Scott Bird. I see your topic. I think Chief Gillespie probably needs to come back in, right?
Too.
Yeah.
Well, Mayor and City Council members, thank you for hearing from our neighborhood. We live in East Modesto, and sometimes we feel like we're a little forgotten and left behind because development happens more in the westward area. But we want to bring to the council's attention that this is some of the issues that we're dealing with. And we do hold Donnaby's as responsible for what has been happening on our street, because repeatedly we've heard from officers who have responded to this scene, speak, reference, tell, or share that drivers have come from that location. And given that a liquor license is a code issue and is granted, it can be revoked. It is our intention to pursue and investigate if this drunk driving matter on our street originates principally from Donnaby's. Given that arrest records and testimonies in the past are records for this, we'd like to pursue that. And we would appreciate any help we can get in trying to figure out a solution to this issue. We don't want to target a business. We understand it's a livelihood for a family, but we're also talking about the well-being of families on this stretch of East Orangeburg. I live just a block behind, and this has only escalated. And the only reason this driver didn't take off is because when I showed up, watched him get into his car, my single thought was if he turns that ignition on and heads down the road, he's going to hit another car or possibly somebody walking their dog at night or taking their family out or taking a bike ride. I intervened in that situation. I took the keys out of his ignition after slamming his shifter in the park so that he could not flee. Because it was inevitable that this man, who you could smell alcohol on from about 10 feet away, was going to leave and was going to do this. I don't want to be in that situation again. I don't think that's what should be required to stop a further DUI activity from happening. I think we should look at the cause of where this is coming from, and it's clear that this is coming from the Century Center Shopping Center. It is coming from merchants and restaurants there that serve alcohol, which I believe are in excess of any code of violation. They're continuing to serve people that are showing clear signs of inebriation, who then get in their cars and cause these accidents that are being brought to your attention. We're just citizens. We're not lawyers. We're not experts. And so any help that we could receive to pursue this matter would be greatly appreciated. Those are my comments. Thank you for your time.
Great. Thank you for being here and appreciate you bringing it to our attention. Next, we'll hear from the gentleman in the back that said he would like to speak.
Madam Mayor, City Council, City Attorney, others. I've been here many times regarding a situation called sidewalks. City ordinance says, city muni code says, the repair of sidewalks will be done with asphalt ramps. I went to Washington, D.C., 9th floor of a building there, and was told by the ADA Commission, and then forwarded to the Department of Justice, who then forwarded me to the Department of Transportation regarding fees and funding. I was told that the situation regarding the asphalt ramps, that every photo that I showed them, more than 2,600, they are all in violation of ADA standards and specifics, i.e. anything deemed to be a ramp of which the code inquires and the ordinance inquires states that a ramp, asphalt ramp, shall be gone over the sidewalk rather than removing and repairing the sidewalk. Thereby, every ramp, cement or asphalt over cement, is in violation because it does not contain handrails as required, nor does it meet the specifics in length and width anywhere within the city. In fact, some of the ones that I complained about in order to deflect the liability on the city by the public, they haven't even been touched yet. They've been ignored. I'm a disabled person. Is it you guys have all these awards and everything that you, we're against the discrimination, we're for the handicap, we're for this, we're for that. You're not. You're really not. Whenever you're security guard, when you're here for a matter for which you are a property owner, and the property, the asphalt overlay ramps, and I had my property evaluated, and I was told your asphalt overlay ramp over my sidewalk causes a detriment of $15,000. Is the city going to pay me that $15,000, or are they going to fix my problem they created? Your tree destroyed the sidewalks. Your tree did it everywhere in the city. That's the ones that I go on. So I see a lot of them that the sidewalks are destroyed by something other than the city trees. But you're not, nobody will call me back. The attorney's office, the mayor's office, the councilman, my councilman, nobody calls me back. I'm being forced to go to the federal and state governments and file complaints, which will get you fines, and some of them start at $4,000, others are 15, and some are as much as $150,000 each. Can I get some kind of cooperation with the city? The city attorney finally decided he don't want to talk to me, but the lady can take my name and they'll get back to me. But it's been 8 months since I was here last time. The last time I was here, I got accosted by your security guard, Leonard. I've asked every department, what's his last name? He's violating my civil and constitutional rights, my ADA rights. I can't get his name. Why? And then the last thing I want to ask you before I leave is I've asked what is a temporary time limit. What does the city consider a temporary time limit? And I asked that to the attorney's office specifically, and they won't answer, because if you consider the temporary time limit to the maximum amount of time that a patch has been down, a asphalt ramp, 8 years, according to what I've been told, then any ordinance or proclamation done by the city trying to limit the time, all the person has to say is, I request temporary time. That gives them 8 years to deal with what you're doing. Otherwise, the city of Modesto is discriminating against everyone. Thank you for your time. And I would like to know in a letter from somebody what you describe as temporary.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. All right. Diane?
My name is Diane Cruzy, and hello. Thank you very much for your, thank you. But I didn't really expect to hear something that I would spend a lot of time here before City Council, not you folks, but the wood colony business. And I was one of the people that opposed Modesto City, because I do have relatives there, and I'm definitely a person that is for agriculture. And I have a real problem with the city trying to do whatever they're doing, are going to do. I was very sorry to hear so many people coming up from Wood Colony, because they sound like it is happening all over again in some form or fashion. And that's the reason I'm standing up here right at this moment, because I'm definitely for Wood Colony. I'm definitely for agriculture, and I definitely hope that you're not starting that all over again, because that means agriculture is losing again. And that appears to be an extreme thing that always happens, because they are the easiest to pave over and put houses on. So that's why I'm here. So I hope you don't do that again, because otherwise I'm going to be here every time you do. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right. Are there any other members of the public in person that would like to address the council this evening? Seeing none, any online? I do not see any hands raised. Zoom, is that correct? All right. That will conclude our public comment period. Thank you, everyone. Will the city clerk please read the consent items?
Yes, Mayor. Item 8, consider approving the minutes from the March 8th, 2022 council meeting. Item 9, consider approving a resolution continuing to authorize remote teleconference meetings pursuant to Assembly Bill 361. Item 10, consider approving the recommended budget adjustments to fiscal year 2021-22 annual operating and capital improvement program budgets. Item 11, consider accepting the 2021 general plan annual progress report and authorizing staff to submit to the state of California. Item 12, consider approving a Fifth Amendment to the professional design services agreements for the State Route 132 West Freeway Expressway Phase 1 project with Doken Engineering, increasing the agreement amount by $89,227 from $9,155,998 to a total amount not to exceed $9,245,225. Item 13, consider approving a submittal of grant funding application for the City of Modesto Active Transportation Program in the amount of $6,985,000 for the Encina Avenue and Lincoln Avenue pedestrian bicycle trail corridor project. Item 14, consider approving a will serve letter and outside service agreement for sewer services for the property located at 1421 North Carpenter Road. Item 15, consider accepting a highway safety improvement program grant in the amount of $100,350 for the installation of pedestrian hybrid beacons at Standiford Long Bridge and Sylvan Bridgeford project and amending the fiscal year 2021-22 capital improvement budget. Item 16, consider accepting a highway safety improvement program grant in the amount of $147,510 for the Oakdale Road from Lancey Drive to Celeste Drive improvement project and amending the fiscal year 2021-22 capital improvement program budget. Item 17, consider approving a first amendment to the agreement with Associated Engineering Group Incorporated for additional professional engineering design services for the Hetchy and Clarentina Avenue Structural Crossing Project, increasing the agreement amount by $59,795 from $147,845.50 to a new total amount of $207,641. Item 18, consider accepting the monthly investment report for January 2022. Item 19, consider approving a third one-year extension option for the purchasing agreement for hot patch work with United Pavement Maintenance from Houston, California for an annual amount not to exceed $3,906,500. Item 20, consider accepting an informational report for the February 2022 Accounts Payable Payment Register and Void Report. Item 21, consider accepting an informational report on the November and December 2021 grant applications and awards. Item number 22, consider amending the position allocation plan in 3 departments, adding 1 administrative office assistant 3 allocation in the Modesto Fire Department, and reallocating 2 senior utility service workers to 2 senior plant mechanics, 3 plant mechanics trainees to 3 plant mechanic 2s, eliminating 2 utility service worker 3s, and amending the salary range of the plant maintenance planner from 134 to 136 in the utilities department, and allocating 2 limited term administrative analyst 2s, and reallocating 1 housing rehabilitation specialist to a community analyst 2. To a community development program specialist in the community and economic development department. Item 23, consider approving a second amendment to legal service agreement with Lafayette and Kumaji LLP in the amount of $200,000 for a total amount not to exceed $245,000 for continued representation in personnel matters and extending the term of the agreement to April 1st, 2024. Item 24, consider approving an agreement for the purchase of retired city police canine cash by Sergeant Kalani Souza. Item 25, consider approving a first amendment with Sun Valley Transport Incorporated for the hauling of non-hazardous brine services to increase the amount by $208,910 from $458,915 for a new total amount not to exceed $667,825 over 5 years. Item 26, consider accepting the 2016 pavement rehabilitation project for La Loma Avenue as complete, authorizing all necessary steps to file with the county recorder, releasing securities, and releasing payments totaling $2,029,196 to United Pavement Maintenance Incorporated of Houston, California. Item 27, consider accepting the river trunk emergency repair at 7th Street as complete and authorizing all payments totaling $431,402 to Rolf Construction Incorporated from Atwater, California, and authorizing all payments totaling $182,245 to Rain for Rent from Stockton, California, and amending the fiscal year 2021-22 capital improvement program budget in the amount of $558,717. Item 28, consider approving a first amendment to the agreement with Consolidated CM Incorporated of Oakland, California for construction management, testing, and inspection services for the Fleet Maintenance Facility Heavy Bay Addition in the amount of $103,818 for an amended total amount not to exceed $524,127, and approving an amendment to the agreement with Consolidated a CM for construction management, special inspections, and material testing services for the bus maintenance facility parts storage room in the amount of $41,797 for an amended total amount not to exceed $184,512. Item 29, consider approving an agreement with LCP Tracker for certified payroll monitoring software in the amount of $18,106 for the initial year of implementation and $13,577 annually for 3 years for a total amount not to exceed $58,837. Item 30, consider approving an agreement with Odell Engineering from Modesto, California for engineering design services for the Sonoma Sewer Trunk Phases 3 and 4 projects in the amount of $72,600 for the identified scope of services plus $7,260 in additional services if needed for a total amount not to exceed $79,860. Item 31, consider approving the plans and specifications for the Highway Village Strengthen and Replace Water Mains Project, accepting the bid and awarding a construction contract to Rolf Construction Incorporated of Atwater, California, in the amount of $4,074,366 plus $407,437 for contingency if needed, for a total amount not to exceed $4,481,803, authorizing the increase in director's authority from 8% to 10% of the construction contract price of $4,074,366 to issue change orders. Management change orders approving an agreement with TRC Engineers Incorporated for the construction management and inspection services in an amount not to exceed $637,000 plus $63,700 for additional services if needed, for a total amount not to exceed $700,700, and amending the fiscal year 2021-22 capital improvement program budgets in the amount of $1,787,746. Item 32, consider authorizing the submittal of grant application to the California Department of Water Resources Urban and Multi-Benefit Drought Relief Grant Program for the Well 312 treatment system and flush line project. And item 33, consider approving an increase of purchase with all steel from Muscatine, Iowa for the procurement and modular systems furniture for the Sutter plant offices by $40,787 from $45,157 plus $4,078 in contingency if needed for a revised total amount not to exceed $90,022.
Motion to approve all consent items.
Second.
I have a motion from Vice Mayor Wright and a second from Councilmember Escutia-Brayton. Will the clerk please do the roll call?
Councilmember Escutia-Brayton?
Aye.
Councilmember Madrigal?
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Mayor Zwallen?
Aye. Carries unanimously, 5-0.
I think we need to give her vacation right now.
Sorry.
Time for a break for you.
Thank you.
That was rough.
Thank you very much. Do any of the council members have any comments and reports?
I have one, Mayor.
All right, Councilmember Ricky.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
You're welcome.
One of the best parts of summer in Modesto is concerts in the park. Moband is it's a community centerpiece. And it's a real asset to the city and to District 3 and to Reseda Park. But the thing is, like, every district in our city has great parks, but they don't have the same opportunity to host music or events. And so I'm looking forward to exploring the opportunity of maybe early evening events, in the summer to allow neighbors, throughout the city to gather and celebrate what I think is the best season of the year. So I'm excited to kind of have that conversation, with the city and with fellow council members to try to make something like that happen in the future. I also want to talk about the improvements that the city is making to our dog park. Thanks to the hard work of residents reaching out to the city, work's being completed by our Parks and Recreation and Neighborhood Department. And that work means that our dog park is going to have a really bright future. So I'm looking forward to continuing to improve not just the dog park, but all our parks in the future. And it's just some really good work. And So I'm just really proud of what you're doing. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about safe parking. I've been trying, pushing for safe parking in our city for months now, and the need's just never been greater. As we continue to see, rents skyrocketing, more and more people are unable to find affordable places to live. We're seeing lots of other families being forced out of their homes as rents just continue to elevate. And many of them end up living in their cars and eventually streets. Safe parking not only offers like a temporary safe haven, but it's also an opportunity for us as a community to kind of give them that one last safety net of services to try to help them get back on their feet. So I can't emphasize enough that we need to get safe parking done as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Scooby-Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to take this opportunity to talk about the visit that you and I and Councilmember Madrigal had last week when we attended the new hire and promotional ceremony for the Modesto Police Department. This community event was so very impressive, but what was particularly impressive about this event was its honorees, and that was the new cadet hires. We are talking about young, impressive, intelligent, ethnically diverse men and women who, what's that? 10 of them. That just, they were all so impressive. They all, at that point, had various college degrees in areas of study that is going to be just immensely valuable to the city of Modesto and the work that they will have in law enforcement. So kudos to the Modesto Police Department for hiring and promoting such great employees. Also an impressive event was yesterday. Was it yesterday? It was recently. The mayor and I visited the Salvation Army and the Barbarian emergency shelters. And these two shelters work side by side in unison. So impressive to provide services to the homeless and vulnerable individuals in the city of Modesto. And what was so impressive is that the fact that very few people did so much work with such meager resources. It was just immensely evident and impressive. The facilities were clean, they were quiet, they were organized, and this is despite the fact that the facilities would housed almost over 300 clients, including 50 dogs. So that environment, like I said, again, was quiet, clean, and organized, and it was just impressive to see that. I was actually also impressed by their mailroom, and the reason why I was impressed by their mailroom is because they have a special program where they afford the individuals who are in need of a physical address to send important documents to, birth certificates and various documents that are normally sent to our home or P.O. box. If a person is vulnerable or doesn't have a home, needs that, and they provide that. They receive the mail and they make sure it gets to the particular person. So that was so amazing. And what we concluded this fantastic visit with the work that is continuing with the City of Modesto staff in rolling out what we hope will be as I understand, the safe parking that so many of us, and Councilmember Ricky spoke to, desire and hope for Modesto. I know that staff is working very diligent to make sure that that abides by all safety and policy, to make it a great place for everyone to take safe haven in, and very much looking forward to that continuing to roll out and to meet the needs of Modesto. I do want to, and one last thing, I want to just end with Blight. And we don't like Blight. People complain about Blight, but unfortunately we have Blight in Modesto. I can safely say that this is an issue that's very, very important to all of us here on the council. It's definitely, I know, an issue that's raised quite frequently to me by my constituents, as I'm sure that's the case with my colleagues as well. I'm bringing this up because I feel it's important for folks to know that we are listening and that we are collaborating with staff on addressing this. For example, I know that staff is researching best practices from other municipalities and also exploring various tools such as drafting a vacant building ordinance, perhaps stricter enforcement measures, et cetera. They're looking at all various tools and techniques that would work and are effective for our needs, for our city, for the to minimize, if not eliminate, blight altogether. So it's, again, our goal, everyone, is to have a cleaner, safer, and more attractive place to live and work in Modesto. I also want to quickly mention, I would be remiss in not doing so, the fact that we formed a Blight Abatement Advisory Committee. This committee meets every last Thursday of each month at 11 a.m. So anyone's wanting to present any issue and concern or thought on this issue is advised to attend one of the meetings. But this committee seeks to promote public engagement concerning blight abatement. They make recommendations to the City Council for improvements, and they they discuss funding opportunities in this area and discuss also increased volunteering. So any of those topics are of interest. I would encourage anyone to attend those meetings. For more information on the work of this committee, the city website has that, could provide you that information. Thank you. That concludes my council comments.
Thank you. Councilmember Madrigal.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of notes of appreciation. I wanted to thank city staff for responding to a request to repair a really uneven sidewalk that was lifted by, looks like the tree roots in downtown Modesto at the southwest corner of I Street and 10th Street, in front of what used to be the old World Savings Bank. The city manager told me that, gave me an update a while ago, that apparently staff went down and ground down the sidewalk, because we were talking about like a 4.5 inch like high lift. Hopefully they'll be able to get to the other side of the building where there's also a very high raised 4-inch or more sidewalk there. I look forward to seeing that repaired and, you know, that pedestrian safety hazard addressed. Another thing I wanted to bring to staff's attention, and I sent a follow-up email, is that apparently in front of Modesto High on I Street, where that little Modesto High parking lot is, there seems to be a lot of people that are driving down the street the wrong way, and it presents a traffic safety issue for people that live on that small block, being able to back out of their own driveways in the morning, because they're battling with the morning rush of folks trying to get to that parking lot, and they will drive on the wrong side of the street, thus preventing a lot of people that live in that block to be able to back out of their driveway. And I think there's also another issue on that street with the street actually being uneven, kind of like where it dips down in the middle of the block instead of just the water continuing to drain down to the gutter. And apparently this is an issue that's been going on for several years, and I'm not sure if it's a funding issue or, you know, on the list of priorities issue. I did send an email to city staff with photos, and I look forward to hearing a response back. I appreciate staff dedicating time to that. I did want to follow up and say, I know I've been talking and asking for an update on the video surveillance cameras. If it's not going to happen, I'd like to ask if staff could at least put this out through all our social channels and website or whatnot, something with the presentation that was provided at the Safety and Communities Committee, with some kind of a title of, you know, update on video surveillance cameras regarding illegal dumping, or to combat illegal trash dumping, just so that we can put it out, so I can confidently say to my constituents, you know, there was an update provided. It's being pushed out on our social media, and you know, please subscribe to our social media channels so that you can see what the update is on the video surveillance cameras that we're exploring to combat illegal trash dumping in our neighborhoods, which is still rampant. You know, I haven't tired of reporting illegal trash dumping in different parts of Modesto, including in my district. It's one of my top pet peeves up there with abandoned shopping carts and graffiti tagging. I reported on the Go Modesto practically obsessively, if I may. The other thing I wanted to just comment on was the police department's promotion ceremony, where they featured the 10 new officers. I couldn't help but notice the direct linkage between the $10 million in increased police funding that we as a council approved last year, and seeing that materialize into, look at this new class of graduates. And to me, the direct linkage between making sure that we invest in our public safety, and these are the type of results that we can celebrate, so that we can confidently tell people in our neighborhoods, look, we are investing in public safety. We're investing in making sure that we have enough you know, police staff, fire staff, so that you can feel confident that when you call 911, there's going to be a response. And so I look forward to seeing what other ways we're going to invest in the coming months when it comes to what we want to do as a city. And last but not least, I did want to just echo the sentiments of my two colleagues regarding the need for a safe parking space. There's an RV in West Modesto that I've just seen for years kind of move around all throughout the neighborhood. And, you know, for the most part, this RV, you know, they behave, but they don't necessarily cause a whole bunch of trash or is a severe nuisance. But nevertheless, they need a safe place to park at night as a way to avoid any kind of nuisance, or maybe just a parking, you know, nuisance for neighbors that are hoping to be able to park their vehicle in front of their house, and now they're competing with this person that's obviously homeless, but as far as having a permanent place, but lives in their RV. Those type of examples are what the safe parking effort that Councilmember Ricky has been talking about, Councilmember Escutia Brayton just mentioned. You know, those are the type of problems that I'm really hoping that this will be a solution for. And finally, I also really look forward to what kind of a policy solution we as a city can take when it comes to those I don't want to call them abandoned, what do we call them? The vacant commercial spaces. Because I just earlier today, I drove by the ones that are out there on Sis. What is it? The old Toys R Us and the old, what's the one next to it? Thank you. The old Orchard Supply. And I couldn't help notice there's a bunch of, there's like a few cars parked there. I don't know what they're up to. It's also starting to turn into a car for sale place, you know. So like there was a couple of cars there with signs, you know, car for sale. And, you know, we definitely don't want this type of unwanted activity in these vacant spaces, you know, to escalate and become a magnet for further unwanted activity in the neighborhoods. And so to the extent that we can, you know, that we as a city council can take some action and enact some kind of policies, I very much look forward to that kind of conversation amongst us. I thought I was only going to say two things.
All right, thank you very much.
No, I'll pass this time.
Okay. I will just briefly mention that I will be giving our State of the City address on Thursday, April 14th at 12 noon, and I'm looking forward to that. And then beginning April 21st, we will begin the mayor's meetings in the park, but it will not just be me. We will visit each of the 6 districts throughout the city of Modesto, and the council member that serves in that district will be in attendance, as well as one of our directors from a different department throughout our city will also attend, and it will be an opportunity for residents to just bring lawn chairs, and anyone's invited throughout the city to attend any one of the meetings. It will be about an hour long, so just a nice Modesto evening in the park where we can hear brief comments from me, from your council member, and also from a staff member. As I do speak at many engagements, people are really curious about how our public works department works and how our utilities department works, and fire and police and the different departments that we have. And our staff does such great work. I want to take the opportunity to share that more openly with community members. So I look forward to having people bring their lawn chairs and just visit and have a great evening in the park. And that will be the 3rd Thursday from April through October. I believe June is excluded, but that will start on April 21st. All right, so that ends council comments and reports. Does the city manager have any comments and reports?
Yes, just briefly, Mayor. Because it was mentioned 3 times up here, I'll go ahead and give an update on safe parking. We are very close to finalizing all of our needed MOUs and finalizing the details on the program. We are hopeful to bring something forward to council in June with implementation in July. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you for that report. Next on the agenda is unfinished business. Item 34, consider accepting the plans and specifications for the River Trunk Realignment Shackelford Pump Station project and awarding a construction contract to Mountain Cascade Incorporated of Livermore, California, in the amount of $10,156,821 plus $1,015,682 in contingency if needed, for a total amount not to exceed $11,172,503. 2, approving an increase in the director's authority from 6%, $609,409,000 to 10%, $1,015,682 to issue change orders. 3, approving an agreement with West Yost Associates for construction management services in the amount of $1,495,674 plus $149,567 in additional services, if needed, for a total amount not to exceed $1,645,241. 4, approving an agreement with Corolla Engineers for engineering support during the construction in the amount of $1,182,608 plus $118,261 in additional services, if needed, for a total amount not to exceed $1,300,869. And 5, amending the fiscal year 2021-22 capital improvement program budget in the amount of $14,593,613. And welcome, Mr. Franco.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, members of the council, city manager, city attorney. Mayor and Dana, my apologies. Utilities tends to have the longest descriptions, and so that's a lot to read. So sorry for that. In any case, we're here to present the River Trunk Realignment, the Shackelford Pump Station, another exciting project that staff has been part of. That's been years in the making, so we're excited to present this to you this evening. So thank you on behalf of myself and staff. Also joined this evening by our Utilities Director, William Wong. So beginning with the project background, the River Trunk ranges in diameter from 24 inches to 60 inches. It spans 5 miles from the Beard Industrial Park over to our Sutter primary treatment plant. In 2016, our wastewater collection master plan identified the River Trunk realignment project is one of the top priority projects which is needed to address hydraulic and access deficiencies. The overall river trunk realignment project consists of 3 phases. One is a large pump station, which is still in design phase, but that's to be located at Morton and B Street. The second phase is the gravity system located along Ptolemy and Colorado Avenue, which is currently in construction. And we're here this evening to present the third phase, which is the Shackelford Pump Station, which is located on Crow's Landing, which will pump under Tuolumne River. And so that's what we're here to present to you this evening. This next slide shows an exhibit of the overall river trunk realignment project shown in red. The Shackelford Pump Station is highlighted in the green text there over off Crow's Landing, located on the Southwest Hyde property, formerly the Tallow area. And also it will involve a force main, which is shown in a dashed red and white that makes its way west, tying into the new gravity system located on Colorado Avenue. With respect to the project bidding, so the project was advertised, it's noted there as re-advertised, but it was actually advertised for bids on October 26th of 2021. Bids were publicly opened on January 25th of 2022. 5 bids were received. Following review of the bid packages, Mountain Cascade of Livermore, California was the responsible bidder with the lowest responsive bid. The project itself involves a sewer lift station, also referred to as a pump station, electrical building, backup generator, and some of the associated valves and things like that, as well as a force main that is 18-inch diameter, and then also 24-inch and 8-inch gravity sewer along the West Modesto area. The overall anticipated construction costs total just over $14 million, so $14,593,612. That's all inclusive of the construction contract, contingency, construction administrative costs, which includes inspections, material testings, things of that sort, public outreach, and then our engineering costs during construction. So before you this evening, again, to kind of echo Mayor's long descriptions of our different items we have there, we've got 5 recommended actions before you. The first is approving a construction contract with Mountain Cascade of Livermore, California, in the amount of $10,156,821, plus contingency, if needed, for a total amount not to exceed $11,172,503. Authorize an increase in the director's authority to issue change orders from 8% or from 6% rather to 10%. Approving an agreement with West Yost of Davis, California, for construction management and inspection services. The fourth one, approving an agreement with Corlo Engineers of Walnut Creek, California, for engineering support during construction. And then the last one is amend the fiscal year 21-22 capital improvement program budget in the amount of $14,593,612 to be transferred in from the wastewater reserves. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much for that report. Does council have any questions of staff? Councilmember Madrigal? All right.
No, that was an old button. I forgot
All right.
to remove it.
I could have cleared the list. I should remember to do that also. Thank you. All right, seeing no council questions, any comments from the public? Don't see anyone in person or online. Any comments from council? I'll just make one comment that this is a whole lot of work. That's a big responsibility and very expensive, but it's what we expect.
Right.
That those pipes underground work to perfection. So I just want to recognize that it's really important work that you do. Thank you very much for that.
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead, Vice Mayor Wright.
Jesse, you have to go under Tuolumne River?
So thankfully, we invested in the river crossings a couple years ago. That was part of a Shackelford crossing is what we referred to that project. That's what it's referred to. So right now, the system is actually, there's 2 pipes that go under the Tuolumne River. They're gravity. We're going to convert those to a pressurized system. So we're actually taking advantage of those existing infrastructure.
So do you leave the current pipes there and just put new pipes in that, or do you pull those out and have to
We're
rebuild?
actually able to utilize the existing pipe because we installed new casings, new HDPE pipe under the river. They're, I mean, just a few years old, and so they are prepped and ready.
Great. That's all I have.
All right. Okay, bear with me. I'm going to read the
Sure.
resolutions. There's 5 of them, but we can do one vote. This is a resolution approving plans and specifications for the River Trunk Realignment Shackelford Pump Station project, accepting the bid, and approving a construction contract with Mountain Cascade Incorporated of Livermore, California, in the amount of $10,156,821 plus $1,015,682 in contingency if needed, for a total amount not to exceed $11,172,503, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the agreement. A resolution authorizing an increase in the director's authority to issue change orders for the River Trunk Realignment Pump Station project from 6%, $609,409 to 10%, $1,015,682 of the construction contract price of $10,156,821 with Mountain Cascade Incorporated of Livermore, California. Resolution approving an agreement with West Yost Associates of Davis, California for construction management services for the River Trunk Realignment Shackelford Pump Station project in an amount not to exceed $1,495,674 for the identified scope of services, plus $149,567 for additional services if needed, for a total amount not to exceed $1,645,241, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the agreement. Resolution approving an agreement with Corolla Engineers Incorporated of Walnut Creek, California for engineering support during construction for the River Trunk Realignment Shackelford project in an amount not to exceed $1,182,608 for the identified scope of services, plus $118,261 for additional services if needed, for a total amount not to exceed $1,300,869, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the agreement. Resolution amending the fiscal year 2021-22 capital improvement program budget in the amount of $14,593,613 to be transferred into the project from wastewater reserves to fully fund the construction, contingency, construction administration, and design support during construction for the River Trunk Realignment Shackelford project, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to implement the provisions of this resolution. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion by Vice Mayor Wright, second by Councilmember Scudia-Brayton, and I'd like to ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Scudia-Brayton. Councilmember Madrigal.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky. Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Mayor Zawalin.
Aye. Carries 5-0. Thank you very much for your report. Next on the agenda is new business. Item 35, consider approving a professional services agreement to provide auditing services on an as-needed basis with Schoeburg, Evac Consulting Incorporated, Sacramento, California, for an annual estimated amount of $130,000 for 2 years, not to exceed $260,000. All right, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Christina Alger, Director of Human Resources. And so this item is to consider approving a contract for services to provide a risk assessment and other needed items as identified by the council. So first we're going to go through a little bit of the background. And so in February of 2008, a vote of the residents passed what was called Measure M. This measure amended the charter to create open processes in city government and increased oversight of council in matters such as budget and operations. With this measure, the city auditor's office was created with an emphasis on city processes. It also created a separation of duties of the city clerk and the city auditor. One of the core functions of the city auditor's office is performing risk assessments. These are done to determine opportunities for greater efficiencies and best practices. All departments are assessed by reviewing policies, procedures, and practices. So now we're going to go to the discussion portion. So vacancy and charter review. So since the creation of the city auditor, the city has either employed an in-house city auditor or contracted with a firm in between appointments. Since the creation of the city auditor, the charter, let's see here, lost my train of thought here. This position has been vacant since October of 2018. The charter is reviewed at a 10-year interval, and its charter review committee comprised of citizens was established in January of 2020. This committee was charged with recommending changes as the city needs have changed. The process has been delayed due to the pandemic, but final recommendations are ready to come forward. Within these recommendations are changes to the city auditor position. The changes are to the qualifications, appointment guidelines, and duties. These changes are to allow inclusive recruitment and establish well-defined responsibilities to ensure success of the next city auditor. So the charter changes require a vote of the residents, which will not happen until November of 2022. So in the interim, we're asking to bring forward a contract for services. And the reason why is because the city really needs to do a risk assessment. So due to the length of time before an official recruitment can begin, it would be in the best interest of the city to perform another risk assessment. The last assessment was completed in March of 2015. There are 4 basic risk elements that are looked at in a risk analysis. And so one is the risk level, so the level of uncertainty within that area, the likelihood or probability of a negative event occurring, impact, so the level of the significance of a negative impact should it occur, and the risk trajectory, which means the direction of where the risk is headed in the future. And so that's what a risk analysis and assessment really looks at. And it's to better understand the needs for improvements within the city. The city can take actions on those improvements in the interim until a city auditor can be brought on. And then assessment will also help a new city auditor as they begin service with the city. So on October 15th, the Human Resources, with council authorization, solicited a request for proposals. An RFP was sent to 15 agencies with 5 responsive proposals. So the evaluation committee formed was comprised of 3 council members appointed by the full council and the director of finance. So the categories that the committee evaluated were the ability to meet the RFP requirements, expertise and experience, references, and overall cost. And so with all of this in place, the committee had chosen Schoeburg Evans Schenck Consulting, Inc. out of Sacramento, California. They actually were the highest score by far over all of the other agencies that were reviewed. So the fiscal impact, the maximum cost of the contract is not to exceed $130,000 annually for a 2-year term. This item will be absorbed into the budget and funded by savings from the vacancies in the city auditor's office. So the vacancy savings total right now is $443,487. However, positions were frozen for 6 months, and so as part of the fiscal 2021-22 budget, leaving a net savings of the $221,743 in this cost center. So that will cover the cost of services needed. So the staff recommendation tonight is to approve a professional services agreement with Schoeburg Evans Schenck Consulting, Inc., Sacramento, California, to provide auditing services on an as-needed basis for an annual estimated amount of $130,000 for a 2-year contract in the amount not to exceed $260,000, authorizing the city manager as designee to execute the agreement. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
All right, does council have any questions of staff? Councilmember Ricky.
I don't think it's working.
This is a 2-year agreement, is that right?
Yeah, so the way I actually set this up was really it's a 1 year, but I extended it for another year just in case there are other services that either the city auditor or city council wanted to do in the second year. So you don't have to use that second year, but I wanted to give you the ability to use that if you need it.
Understood. And So you're not saying you anticipated the search or the whatever for an auditor might take another 2 years?
Nope, had nothing to do with the search at all.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions from the council, any comments from the public? I do not see anyone in person or online. Any comments from the council? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Right, motion by Vice Mayor Wright. I'll make the second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Escutia-Brayton. Councilmember Madrigal.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. Carries unanimously. Thank you very much. 5-0 for this report. All right, is that it?
I'm gonna
Okay,
stay
we'll
for
go on
now.
to item 36. Consider appointing Diane Nayares Perez as city clerk. Approving a city clerk. You know what? I didn't read the resolution on the last one. Did I read it? No. I did not. Should I redo that?
It wasn't the title. I think you read the title. You can for the record.
Do we take a new vote? Okay, so I will read the resolution from item 35. Resolution approving professional services agreement with Schoeburg Evac Consulting Incorporated, Sacramento, California, to provide auditing services on an as-needed basis for an annual estimated amount of $130,000 for a 2-year contract in an amount not to exceed $260,000, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the agreement. That's the resolution, and it was approved 5-0. Yes, thank you. All right, on to item 36. Consider appointing Diane Nayares Perez as city clerk, approving a city clerk employment agreement with Diane Nayares Perez for service as city clerk and setting terms of employment, salary, and benefits. So we will have a report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So the position of city clerk became vacant due to a retirement in October of last year. Council authorized Human Resources Department to engage an executive recruiter to assist in filling the position. 5 candidates were brought forward for consideration. Out of those 5 candidates, Diane Nayares Perez was chosen by the City Council to fill the role. Diane comes to the city with many years of experience in both legal and the city clerk's office. So this item is to consider approving Diane Nayares Perez as the city clerk for the City of Modesto and approving an employment agreement including salary, benefits, and terms of employment, and so that contract is attached to the item with the proposed start date of April 26th. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
All right, any questions from council for staff? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
Mayor, before we go to the
Oh,
comments
sure.
from the public, maybe if I could just kind of go through the staff report there, just on bullet points on the benefits. The base salary is $139,000. There is a certification incentive pay of 5%. There's 128 hours of vacation per year, which is annually adjusted. Car allowance of $500 per month. There's also executive leave and other types of leaves common with these agreements, insurance, retirement, and again, other benefits as noted in the staff report. Just wanted to mention that out loud. There is a law that says with executives reading some of the benefits out loud during the public meeting.
Thank you very much. Any question from council members? Questions? Seeing none, comments from the public? No one in person and no one online. Any comments from council members? Councilmember Madrigal.
I just really want to thank Dana for stepping up and providing us the stability, the professionalism, and just your tireless work and dedication through this process when you served as interim. And in this day and age, the stability in these in our city governments is really, really important, especially at the department head level. So, thank you.
Right. Any other comments from council members? All right. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Oh, sorry. I need to read the resolution. Why am I forgetting to do that? All right. Resolution appointing Diane Narez Perez as city clerk, approving a city clerk employment agreement with Diane Narez Perez for service as city clerk, setting terms of employment, salary, and benefits, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion from Vice Mayor Wright. Second from Councilmember Escutia Brayton. Will the clerk call the roll?
Councilmember Escutia Brayton? Aye. Councilmember Madrigal?
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Mayor Zwollen?
Aye. The motion carries 5-0. And I'd like to ask Diane if she'd like to make remarks. Welcome.
You have 3 minutes.
I want to say welcome, yeah.
Good evening, council and mayor, city manager, city attorney. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to serve as the City of Modesto's next city clerk. I'm looking forward to working with the mayor and council, city staff, and most importantly, serving the City of Modesto residents. Thank you again for the opportunity.
All right. Thank you very much. We're glad that you're here this evening and look forward to a great working relationship. All right. Are there any matters too late for the agenda? Seeing none, I'm calling this meeting of the City Council to be adjourned.